and welcome to Movie RX, where I prescribe entertainment one movie at a time. I am your host, Dr. Benjamin MD. No, the MD does not mean medical doctor, it means movie dude. Today, I want to talk about a fun movie, one with a lot of silliness and laughter. Today, we're going to talk about Home. My guest is the producer of Movie RX and my better half, Jen. Welcome, Jen.
Thanks.
So with these kind of movies, I like to start with a little bit of like background information, some of the basic information about a movie. And so with this one, with Home, we've got it a release in 2015. It stars Jim Parsons, which everybody would remember from, well, I mean, I guess Sheldon's own show, I guess.
Well,
Big
more
Bang Theory.
so, yeah, I was going to say more so Big Bang.
Right. It also stars Rihanna, Steve Martin, which, you know, he's Steve Martin in everything he is. Matt Jones and Jennifer Lopez are kind of the big names in this movie. It was directed by Tim Johnson. Tim Johnson is mostly known for Ants and Over the Hedge. And really, honestly, he doesn't actually have a lot of movie credits under his belt. So this movie is based off of a book, which is sounds like it's relatively similar. I haven't read it though.
In the book, the main character's name was actually J-Lo.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I haven't read the book either, but I read that.
Yeah, Jim Parsons' character.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah, he takes the name J-Lo because he thought that it was super popular.
Hmm?
There's all kinds of fun stuff in this movie, like just the silly goofiness of the aliens and the way they talk.
Can I
they
come
use
into
the
the
wrong-
out now?
Right, the silly like they use the wrong tense for things and whatever. It is super silly. And it's just kind of good for a laugh no matter what, which in the spirit of the podcast, laughter is always a good medicine.
Yes.
But when you think of Home, when somebody talks to you about the movie Home, what are the things that come to mind? Not so much the deep stuff or anything like that, just kind of the technical things and all of that stuff. What do you think about?
So I like it because some days you just have bad days. And as you know, normally I watch murdery things, and I feel like on bad days I probably shouldn't watch murdery things. So
that you're not inspired.
Right.
Okay.
No, it's just even in the sadder parts of the movie, it's just the music makes me feel better. Like you said, the silly way that they talk, and like he quotes in the movie, they're so ugly, they're cute. So, it's just a lot of little things, like the cat's name is Pig, and O keeps saying, I'll help you find my mom.
Oh, yeah. Can we just stop for a second and talk about a cat named Pig? Like, I have seen some cats that look like pigs. Like,
Yes.
like the Friskies commercials and stuff like that. Every once in a while, you'll get those ones that do kind of look like pigs, but that is the one that's on that movie is not a cat that looks like a pig.
Well, did you notice, like, the very first thing you see is him eating out of an ice cream thing, and when he pulls his head out of the ice cream container, he actually has like a little pig snout.
I guess I didn't notice that.
Yes.
Now I'm gonna have to watch it again.
Aw, shucks.
So, yeah, the feel good parts of this movie are just, they're just kind of present anyway.
Yeah.
And I feel like that this was largely it was just not real well received when it came out. I think it was just kind of underappreciated, I guess would be the
Yes.
word. And I don't know, it could be, I don't know what other movies came out around the same time or anything like that, but with the way that Disney has been the last, since its existence, but like the last decade in particular, Disney's been really hard put to not have something out. Like it almost seems like they've got a new movie out every 4 to 6 months that's just another mega hit.
Yeah. Well,
And
and like you said, this one, my guess is that something else came out around the same time that they really pushed harder than this one.
right, and with this one not being Disney, it's a DreamWorks production. DreamWorks does great work. I mean, they do a lot of really good movies and everything like that, and even their animated stuff. I mean, I like right off the top of my head, the Shrek movies. Those were mega hits
Huge, yeah.
and all of that. Um, but I mean, yeah, for whatever reason, whether it's because the 800-pound gorilla that is Disney had something bigger and stronger come out, um, this movie just kind of it slipped through the cracks.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about it until after it came out. So
Was I the one that had you watch it?
yes, watching it with you was the first time I saw it. The only other thing that I'd ever seen was I went to a friend's house that I played paintball with. We were on the same paintball team. Go Lucky Dogs. But I went over to his house, stopped by with a Schwann's truck. I was selling fine frozen food at the time. And he pulled up this one scene and he said, "This is what I always think. This is you when I'm thinking about you. You just
this.
exemplar. You are the exemplary version of this person in real life." And then he pulled up just the one scene where
Kevin.
Smack goes to smack somebody, with the shusher, and then Kevin grabs the shusher and goes, "That is enough shushing." And he goes, "That is you right there." And I was like, "What? I don't see that at all." But
whatever.
I'm okay with it. I mean,
Yes.
It's whatever. Kevin's cool. The silliness in this movie is just great. Even for a movie that I mean, it's just a standalone movie. It's not like this is a series or anything like that. It's
That we know of.
right. Well, I mean, the book series might be there,
Right.
But I mean, as far as the movie franchise goes, it's a standalone film, and I don't feel like they left anything out. Like, I mean, there's plenty of flesh with the characters. There's plenty of substance to the characters and everything.
Right.
But I think I think one of the things that really gets me, that you pointed out when we watched this, was the detail.
Yes.
The attention to detail in this movie is kind of crazy.
Like you see all the little details in the eyes, and like when Tip is running and you see the back of her head, you see the strands of hair and curls just bouncing, and it's insane.
Well, the part that you pointed it out to me was that scene where they're in the convenience store, just before bust a lime. But when they're just on either side of the aisle, I mean, just the detail in like the price tags on the shelves, and
they look exactly like the price tags that you would see in stores.
right. Like, I mean, they paid a lot of attention to detail in this movie. Well, there is one that I noticed that they kind of messed up on. They went to Paris, and they left Paris with a Vincent van Gogh Starry Night painting.
Yes.
Starry Night has been in New York City for 80 years now.
Maybe when they took over, they just
They moved
sent
it back
everything to that particular restaurant because it was food.
Maybe. But yeah, I mean, the artistic detail in this movie is pretty astounding. The reason I like to look at these movies, though, is any of the deeper things. And as for this movie, I mean, it feels like there's a lot of things that they're kind of dabbling in as far as messages and things like that. There's not really any. They're very transparent about what they're trying to get across in the larger scheme of things. What's your take on kind of what the big thing is about this movie. What's the message that they wanted everybody to have?
Well, I mean, I guess I took two main ones away, I guess I would say. Is that people might think that they are doing the right thing, but that doesn't mean they are. Sometimes people do mean horrible things, but they're not coming at it from an angry or hurtful, you know, side of it. They honestly think that they're helping.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the aliens thought that, the humans were simple and backwards, and they needed, like, humans needed their help, and you find out that that wasn't the case.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually brought the destruction. And then I guess the other thing that I pull from that is everyone makes mistakes. Like, it shows that you're human. And
Right.
because the whole thing with O was he was like, you're only supposed to make 9 mistakes, and he made well over 9 mistakes.
Nine mistakes is all you're allowed.
And then you're out. And
right.
by out, they kill you.
Nine strikes. Are you serious? Like,
and Tip tells him, that's what makes you human.
Right. I can definitely get behind the mistakes, that everybody makes mistakes thing. I mean, he's got a lot of mistakes, but the only one that we actually really see in this movie is him sending his party invite to everybody, including their enemy. But I mean, that's a pretty big mistake. Like,
yes.
That kind of goes hand in hand a little bit with another one of the things that I had kind of taken from Home. He makes a mistake, and then he takes off running.
Yes.
He tries to do everything he can to get away and go to Antarctica to have a great big penguin hug. Which,
well, dude, yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of just what they do. I mean, the whole time they're talking about, what do Boov do? They run away. And so,
and they're very proud of that. Like,
yeah,
that is something to be admired.
Right. It shows a whole different side of it with me. I mean, because like it's an analogy for running away from your problems. The thing that's really cool about that for me is that, like, a lot of the time when people are running from their problems, when people are running from their mistakes and things like that, they do it out of fear of whatever, whether it's judgment or destruction, or any of those things. And they're all running from a big problem that had a very, very simple solution.
Right.
You've got the Gorg coming after you, but the only person who would possibly know what's going on is Smack. The Gorg didn't want to hurt anybody. They just needed their shusher, right? To me, it was kind of a message of, you don't even really know that your problem is going to continue being a problem until you stop and face it.
Well, and not only was running their big thing, but the running stopped when he had someone there pushing him and supporting him and showing him that you can solve these problems. Sometimes it just takes some help.
It's actually pretty similar to a couple of the other episodes that I've had, even, Fight Club, and how important it is, the people around you, the people that you keep around you. The cool thing about this movie is that that's kind of a double-edged sword there, because not only does it show you that it's important the kind of people that you surround yourself with, but it's also, like, sometimes those people that you do bring into your life, that you keep around you to make you better, sometimes they're not expected. These two were two people that were built to hate each other. O and
no, humans love them.
Yeah. But they were at odds, like, the whole time. He was just trying to deceive her and try to pull one past her or whatever. And then she wanted to just, to go find her mom. And she would do that at his expense if she needed to.
Right.
Well,
but
all it took was a shared experience, a few shared experiences, very small ones. Like, I mean, because it didn't take him very long to get around.
No,
Um,
because
but
of Slushius.
yeah, because Slushiest, kicked into Bust a Lime.
Yes.
um, but
They made a
I love
grape escape.
I, I love how every time somebody says Bust a Lime, whoever it is that says it just starts cracking up.
Yeah.
To me that's just a really great little thing. Um, but I mean, it really didn't take very long for him to start figuring out a really big thing, and I think it's something that really everybody can kind of look at and work on. Um, and that's that, like, there's all this talk about inclusion and acceptance and things like that, and a lot of people are really resistant to that for whatever reason. Um, but when we look at these different interactions between these two people that don't like each other, then we start to see something that's really important, and it's a key part of that acceptance and inclusion thing. And that is figuring out that, yeah, you have differences, but when you really observe things, you start figuring out that you have more in common than you have differences.
Well, and Tip kind of talks about that with the whole, it would help us not to hate you guys so much if you actually started liking some of the things that we like.
Right, like with the music.
Yes.
Because
Best
I mean,
scene.
the whole thing with him, dancing in his seat or whatever, and then turning red and freaking out because his body temperature is too high or whatever, and then he jumps out of the car. Like, I don't really understand why raising your body temperature would be such a big deal. But
It was
maybe,
raising with embarrassment.
yeah, maybe forcing him into almost having a number 3. Um, but he
Don't squeeze him, it might still happen.
right. But yeah, I mean, it's just with all of these things that they're starting to finally figure out are really not that different. Like, yeah, so Boov music is awful. you know, um,
It is just noise.
and some people could even say the same thing about the music that they were listening to when she changed it back to the Human Channel.
Nope.
But
I was jamming. I jam every time.
but like, but among people though, that I mean, that's the thing, is that some people are going to hate that song,
Right.
and some people are really going to love it. But those two people, the person that hates the song and the person that loves it, are, if they spent enough time in one room, they would find that they have more in common than they do different.
Right.
And the differences that we have are something to be celebrated more than it is to try to find common ground and make that the basis of everything. Like, although I'm sorry, I don't care how much I start to like Boov, I am not listening to their music because it sucks.
Well, and like it's the same with us. You know me. I listen to just about anything and everything under the sun.
Everything. Yes.
Yeah, my playlist would surprise quite a few people, I'm sure. And sometimes I listen to music that you're not a fan of, and you will listen. You will listen, and we just kind of take turns. I think you have to actively try to not find common ground with anyone else. Like, we are people, and we may grow up different, live differently, but I feel like it would be hard to not find something in common with anyone.
Right. And the cool thing with this is that, like, I mean, they obviously look past it a little bit. For instance, if our music sounded to O the way that his music sounds to me, then there's no way that he would have been all, doing the head bobbing and the leg tapping and all of that stuff. He wouldn't have gotten to that point. So I think they took a little bit of creativity and just like pushing that aside or whatever. But but ultimately, I think that was a really good message. There was that if we can find more in common, um, with each other, that our differences will matter less. I
Right.
guess is I guess kind of the way that I want to put it.
Not that like you said, our differences should be something to be celebrated. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be unique. And like that's another thing. He was not like any other boob.
Right.
And people did not treat him well. But
Right.
like you realize towards the end, like it is something to be celebrated, to be different. And just because you think it's different does not mean that everyone does. Like,
Right. So I have a question. With O being so different from the rest of the Boov, I mean, he makes more mistakes. He likes socializing, and it would appear as though the rest of the Boov are not real big on being social.
they don't like parties because it is a waste of time.
Right. And all of that kind of stuff. So it's like, he's already a little bit different from the rest of the Boov.
He fits out.
Right. So does that mean that with him being different, does that mean that he's already sort of on his way to being more open to humans or human interaction or something like that? Like,
I mean, I would definitely say that does make it easier for him to get along with humans because he is like the only one that wants interaction, and I don't think it matters where it comes from. He was willing to go to Antarctica and he was perfectly happy with, penguin hugs.
yes, penguins.
It is cold there.
I don't know if you know this or not, but penguins are not super friendly.
I could do it.
Yeah, I don't think that's wise.
I'd still do it.
It's almost like he seeks, seeking that connection with other people more than the rest of the Boov do. Like, I mean, and there are some instances where it seems like the Boov are perfectly okay being around other Boov because there's, Smack, and he's always got an entourage of, 50 to 100 Boov around him at all times.
I think that's a little different though, because those are people that are like, those are Boov that are waiting on him hand and foot. So he doesn't have to do anything.
Right.
And they also like feed into his ego and praise him and all of that.
Smack is already a little different from the rest of the Boov, but not in the same way that O is.
He makes his difference acceptable because he's the one in charge. So like running away is a great thing because I'm in charge and I say it is.
Now, do you think that running away is something that he made okay with everybody, or do you think that was just always a society thing with them?
My guess is he was the one that made it okay because they didn't, as far as we know in the story, they didn't have a problem until he ran away and took the shusher.
Right.
So he, I ran away, I saved us all, you're welcome.
The funny thing to me is that, like, every time I watch that movie and I see that scene where they're doing the sitting across the table with Smack, and then the Gorg on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
What always comes to mind is the opening of the newer Battlestar Galactica show. Big difference is that in Battlestar Galactica, everybody was a Cylon. There's only one Gorg.
Yes. And to be fair, like I said, the Gorg is a little at fault there because, of course, that little tiny alien is going to freak out because he's in this massive, scary suit. If he would have just come at it as himself, I seriously doubt any of that would have happened.
Yeah, but I could also see Smack like bullying the crap out of a little starfish.
Yeah, but I see this starfish like clinging to Smack's face and just sucking on it until he gives.
So you said when you're doing when you're just kind of having a rough day, that this is one of those movies that you kind of go to just kind of make your day better.
Yes, it is definitely one of the ones that I pick.
So, for you, what are kind of the medicinal things about this movie?
Um, like the music, obviously, because it is so upbeat. Like it's hard to feel really down. I'm one of those people that music can definitely change my mood,
Right.
and it's yeah, there's definitely some fun ones in there.
There's been plenty of things that have been made in history. Plenty of movies and TV shows and cartoons and things that were made that were made backwards, where whatever it is that you're watching was made specifically just to give you something to watch while you're listening to the soundtrack.
Yeah.
The example that I have, like, remembering that is Cowboy Bebop. You know, Cowboy Bebop is about the music. It's not about all the stuff that you see on the screen. That is just stuff that they gave you to watch while you're listening to the music.
Yeah.
And and sometimes I kind of wonder if that's how this one is. I'm going to be totally honest. Most of the music on this thing, the only reason I enjoy it is because of the context.
Yeah, I
Um,
could see that.
like I would never have listened to the uh I want to dance in the dark. Blah, da, 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 that I
Right.
never would have downloaded that and listened to that.
No, I don't know that
Um,
you would actually really, and there might be haters out there. I'm sure there are, but I don't know that you would actually download like anything from Rihanna, cuz I think you would just assume that you wouldn't like it.
I mean, not that I don't appreciate Rihanna's music at all. I mean,
Right.
there've been a couple of them that I've come across on the radio and everything, but I mean, yeah, it's not something that I'll go out of my way to download and put on a playlist in my car for while I'm driving or anything. Um,
I'm
but
just going to input here. I do have quite a few of these songs downloaded in my
right.
iMusic.
Well, and I do too now. Because kids really like them. So when I'm doing my job, I can play some of this music, and kids get a kick out of it. They love it.
I'm
Um,
actually kind of surprised that I was just thinking that we haven't touched on that topic of, I'm not supposed to be alone all the time. I figured our jobs would have kicked in on that topic.
right. Getting on his case about
Leaving her alone.
about neglect. um,
It is your fault, and with that, you can go.
right. Yeah, the soundtrack for this movie definitely. I mean, I'm trying to remember some of the music, like some of the songs individually, but I don't.
There's Dancing in the Dark, Towards the Sun, and you said Feel the Light.
Yep.
Those are like the main ones. But yeah, the music definitely cheers me up.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know me, I think O is freaking adorable, and I cannot think of a better person to voice him than Jim Parsons. Like I love that.
The guy was already kind of alien in Big Bang Theory.
He was different, yeah.
Generally, there's just a lot of positive messages and themes in this movie. Um, unity, bravery, resilience, those kind of things. I think there's also a big message for sacrifice. When O finally figures it out, when he figures out, okay, I know why the Gorg is here, and I know why the Gorg keeps coming after us, and I know why he keeps finding us. He locks Tip and my mom in the car, even though like so much of what he's done up to that point has been kind of in opposition to Tip and her goals and things like that. It was mostly just to benefit himself. Then they start to figure those things out, and then when it comes time for him to do something dangerous, rather than leaning on the person that's right there with him to help him, you know, solve the problem that he's figured out, then he pushes her away again. It's to keep her safe. It's because he cares about her and he wants her to be okay through what's something that could very likely kill him. But it's still one of those things where he could have done that better with her help. And eventually he does. Like, she gets the car up into the air and then she uses the mirror and whatever. And
another thing, like, he did try and save her as he was running away. And he they got so angry with each other because she didn't want to go. She wanted to find my mom, and he wanted to run. And sometimes it's hard to know when to push somebody and when to support them. Like,
right.
She was not doing what he wanted, because it wasn't her goal. Her goal was finding her mom. And he just started getting angry at her, and it shows that sometimes taking a step back is way better than, calling someone out saying, you are too simple to understand the basic thing that you need to run right now and you're not safe. And he wasn't doing it to be mean. He was doing it because he cared for her and he wanted to keep her safe, but it wasn't the right approach.
Something that you get in a lot of support professions, utilizing your supports. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a very important thing. If you have a friend that specializes in a thing, and that thing is something that is going to make a difference somehow, then that's kind of who you need to go to. You need to go to those people who know how to fix these things. If you have skills, like if you know that you're good at a thing and you need and you have a friend who needs something that your skills can help with, it's almost awful not to.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's a difference between saying, "Hey, I can help you with this," and like going in there and just taking over.
Yeah, I'm going to do this for you.
Right. Like
which isn't good either.
Right. Like yes, you can offer your help, but if someone turns it down, then you need to respect that decision. Obviously, he thought if he ran with a shusher, yeah, she was going down. But like, obviously you don't want them to get hurt or anything like that. You want to step in if there's a chance of them, dying or getting seriously injured, but like you want to explain yourself instead of just saying, "No, I'm coming in here right now. We're going, like, I'm kidnapping you."
Yeah. So obviously Tip and her mom, my mom, have they obviously have a good relationship.
Right.
It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of strain or anything going on there. About the only thing that I could really detect in there that was any sort of bitterness, was that it felt a little bit like there might have been some reservations with her mom about moving. I don't know if maybe it was moving too much or whatever. And I could be misreading that. It could have been wherever they were at, she was just miserable.
Well, she goes on to say, she goes on to say that her mom, she was very proud of her mom, and her mom was so strong that she saved up the money to get them to move. I think the move had more to do with, your typical, I had friends there. I was finally, fitting in and finding my groove there, and now I'm in a new place and these people are mean.
Right.
So I don't know if she put a whole lot of that on her mom necessarily, I guess.
Right. And I don't think that was even really a focus for her. I mean, if anything, it was a reason why she wasn't upset with her mom, was because she was finally starting to figure things out. She was finally starting to find her group, her people, and then the Booth show up. But ultimately, I mean, it seems like they have a good relationship anyway. Her resistance to a friendship with this random Booth that she comes across, when you think about it, like, she didn't resist that much. They find each other or whatever, and they're not very nice. And, like, I mean, seriously, she let him into the out. Like,
to fix her car.
Right. It was with a purpose.
Right.
But
But he only fixed it with a purpose. So,
right. Well, there is that.
I mean, look at how happy he got when he heard it sputter and not start.
Yeah. That saxophone music that goes on with that whole thing. I just I can't even. It's so bad.
It's so funny.
But yeah, I mean, it's almost like she's more open to even being friendly with something as evil as this race that came in and took over the planet, you know, as long as it was on her terms.
Yes. And you could tell that she was really struggling with that because she knew she wasn't supposed to like get along with him. Like every little misstep that he did, she like kicked him in the face and
Right.
got very violent
Yeah.
with the whole "you're back" and then right in the face. But you left.
I think there was a really good message in there in that particular scene where they're hovering over the ocean and everything. Kind of an important discovery, I think, was when O was talking to her about how she was sad because she was left alone and she didn't have him anymore, you know, because he jumped into the water and all this other stuff. And then, you know, when he came back, rather than her being happy and welcoming him with open arms and being happy to see him, you know, she beat him up. And, you know, when she was explaining it to him, you know, and he was kind of going through that, well, you know, you are telling me that you were sad, but when I came back, you were showing me that you were mad. So, and, you know, and then she said that, you know, well, sometimes it's both. That's kind of important for everybody to remember, I think, is that our emotions are not so static that it's, you know, that if you're mad, then you're just mad. That if you're happy, that you're just happy. And that those emotions can often mix, and sometimes it can be complete polar opposites. I mean, you can be both happy and sad at the same time.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's also important to be able to identify the emotions that you are actually feeling.
Well, and what goes along with that and like building their bond was the fact that he was actively listening to her. And at that age, you know, who really listens and actually pays attention? And he was doing that for her.
Yeah, I actively listening to 7th graders is difficult. I'm just saying. Because so often are they just saying things just to say things.
That can happen.
But you're right. Like, I think that a large portion of kids in general, a lot of the time feel unheard. People a lot of the time look at things, like especially with younger kids, 7th graders and even into high school. A lot of times people won't listen to the substance of the things that their kids are saying.
I think that is kind of a growing problem now where people don't really have the attention span or want to have the attention span to actively listen and be in that moment because, you know, they have to do this or they want to do this or they're Snapchatting this or have to put this on their Instagram. Like nobody sits down and eats a meal. Like they have to post it everywhere.
Yeah, we can sit down and we'll eat dinner together after I take a picture of it.
Yes. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've totally done that because sometimes I'm proud of what I make, dang it.
Yeah. Yes.
When we had our pizza nights and made all kinds of weird concoctions, I took
pictures of those.
We
made some fun pizzas. Yeah, we're going to have to do that again.
Dude, one of my pizzas had like dry ramen noodles on it. Like I made a Chinese pizza.
I really liked my Philly cheesesteak pizza.
Yeah, that one was good.
That one was a lot of fun. Anyway,
off topic.
So I think that the other really important as far as this movie goes, like being medicine, is that is the altruism that goes with it. Just the good feelings that you get from the various different parts of this story, from her finding common ground with O, her finding her mom, the Boov coming around to O, and figuring out that he's not so bad, and then even make him, head Boov.
Right. Because he's a super Boov.
Right, because he ran toward the danger.
That's right.
You watch good feeling things and you're going to feel good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is that kind of how that works for you? Is just kind of the altruism with?
Yeah, like, we recently had some not fun stuff happen in our lives, and when we came home, the first thing you did was, got me sat down on the couch, handed me the remote, turned on, I guess what people would call, a little kid movie, because that when I am not okay, like when I'm sick, for sure, I will most likely be in pajamas under a blanket watching little kid movies until I feel better. Because like part of it is just that, like, that's what I did when I was younger. Like, I stayed home from school at my grandparents' house and watched kid movies all day. But yeah, like, it's just sometimes just that innocence and optimism that you often lose when you get older is just nice to see and healing.
Yeah, I don't know. I like this movie. It makes me feel good. Mostly for me, it's mostly just I laugh like hell at so much of the stupid shit in this movie.
What is
so
the
bad.
purpose of your face?
What is the purpose of your face? But
you mean you don't laugh at me sitting there dancing while I'm just dancing with O?
Well, I'm tapping my leg. I'm not jumping out of no cars though. But
no, don't do that. Only if they're floating over the ocean.
For me, it's just the happy stuff with it. But I think that the altruism is kind of I think that could really help anybody that's just not doing well. And I don't think that it even has to be somebody who's young. I think that the absolute absurdity that is everything in this movie could be good for anybody who's just really, really struggling.
Well, and that it's not just for those who are younger. We're old.
Yeah. I'm really old.
I think I will forever have those types of movies in my life. Like, I see one come on for a preview that isn't out yet, and I'm probably going to want to see it at some point. I might not go to the movie theater for it, but it's one of those things that it does heal me.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna go ahead and cut it there for this episode. So yeah, that's home. And all the good stuff in it, and all the feel good things. So yeah, if you have any movie suggestions, if you have a movie that is particularly medicinal for you, go ahead and send me a suggestion. You can email me at contact@movie-rx.com. You can also leave a message on any of the social medias. It's got the same logo as what you see on your favorite podcasting platform. And other than that, we'll see you at the next checkup.